Today, I'm putting IShowSpeed into the Real Madrid Academy because he just quit being a streamer to chase his dream of becoming a footballer. But boys, there's a problem. He's the worst footballer on the planet. But don't you worry, I'm going to turn Speed into a Real Madrid legend to make his idol Ronaldo proud by winning Real their first ever treble and winning him a Ballon d'Or to make him the world's best player. So here we have Speed in the Real Madrid Academy, but he's a 56 overall, the worst player in world football. However, as I am now his agent, I walk into Xabi Alonso's office and Alonso says, if IShowSpeed wants to go ahead and sign a pro contract with Real Madrid, he needs to score 3 goals total in the youth tournament and we'll mold him into a future superstar. However, scoring 3 goals wasn't gonna be easy, as he went ahead and missed another opportunity, then a golden one, but finally scored his first goal as that game ended 1-0. But in the semis, it was a different story as he scored his second goal. And up next was the final against Getafe. But once again, Speed struggled, not only missing one opportunity, but his second. But luckily, he won a penalty, where he went ahead and put in the back of the net, scoring his third goal. And yes, IShowSpeed has scored 3 goals in the youth tournament. He's gonna get that new pro contract. However, there was a huge problem, as Xabi Alonso has been sacked, the manager who promised him that pro contract. And Mikel Arteta has become the brand new Real Madrid manager. So Mikel Arteta welcomes me into my office. He says, congratulations to Speed, from streamer to 3 goals in a youth academy tournament. But let's be honest, he sucks. He's being released from Real Madrid. Maybe one day he can come back. So yes, boys, there we have it. IShowSpeed has been released from Real Madrid and has to start from the very bottom and work his way back up to the club to become a Real Madrid legend. But right now, it just seems impossible to ever win a Ballon d'Or and a treble for Madrid. But fortunately, there was one club that gave him a chance after being released, and that is from Salford City, as he started from the very bottom at League 2. And luckily, here at Salford City, he's already got up a +3 out of 59 overall. And even better news, as he is actually in the starting 11, as he's the second best striker in the entire club. And just take a look at how bad IShowSpeed is. He does have 90 pace because we know how quick he is in real life, but every other stat is absolutely horrendous, and he only has 1-star weak foot and 1-star skill move. Boys, this won't be easy. But of course, if we want him to get back to Madrid, let's give him the poacher development plan to work on his shooting so he can score a bunch of goals. But we are very lucky because Speed does have a mentor, and it's one of his best friends, Rafael Leao, who's currently playing for Milan. Leao goes ahead and speaks to Speed and says, look, Speed, welcome to professional football. You are way out of your depth. We know you're an incredible athlete. I believe you can do it. If you want to go ahead and improve this season, just try to aim to get at least 7 goals this season. That's the favorite number of your GOAT Ronaldo. IShowSpeed then responds, thank you, Leao. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be as good as Ronaldo one day. But the question is, can he do it? Let's go to the end of the season. Can Speed in his first ever professional season score at least 7 goals? And as we're going to the end of the season, not only do I want him to win the treble with Real Madrid and a Ballon d'Or, because he's a striker, I also want him to win 5 golden boots in his entire career. And I also want him to win 3 different league titles in 3 different top 5 leagues, just like his idol, Cristiano Ronaldo. And there's good news, as Salford City are going to Sky Bet League 2, finishing in 2nd place. How good did IShowSpeed do? And it's a +4 for IShowSpeed now out of 63 overall. He's no longer a trash footballer. But yes, he has done it. 9 goals in 45 appearances. His mentor gave him an objective and he completed it, which is only gonna get him closer to playing for Madrid again. But of course, Speed is still a long way from winning his first golden boot, and he is nowhere near. And now in season number 2, just take a look at Speed's shooting. 64 is a huge improvement from what he had before. However, most of his stats are still lacking. I'm actually gonna skip on his shooting for now, and we're gonna go ahead and give him the false 9 role to really work on his passing and dribbling to make him an all-around footballer. But before we move on, Leao once again talks to Speed and says, amazing season, Speed. Ronaldo would be proud. It's time to set your next objective. You should go ahead and get more than 15 goals. Yes, it's another goal target, but you are a striker and you need to become the best. IShowSpeed responds, you are right. I am slowly becoming the next Cristiano Ronaldo, and if I want to go back to Real Madrid, I need to continue improving. And boys, the good thing is he went up another +1 to 64. But if IShowSpeed wants to go ahead and score 50+ goals, he needs an amazing midfielder behind them to give him those assists. So as his agent, I walk into Paul Scholes' office, the Salford manager, and I say, I think Speed has surprised you as much as he surprised me, and he has a big goal of getting 15+ goals this season. Can you go ahead and sign an amazing midfielder? Scholes says, yes, you're right. I'm extremely impressed. I originally signed Speed just to get us more funds because he's very popular. But you know what? Let's go ahead and sign an amazing midfielder. And let me tell you, Scholes has brought in an amazing talent, and it is Drew from FC Barcelona. However, it's only a 2-year loan. But I think the combination of IShowSpeed and Drew, who has over 85 potential, can help Speed get those 15 goals. And now the talented Drew has joined the starting 11 right behind IShowSpeed. Speed. Surely he can go ahead and achieve his next objective, which is 15 plus goals. And who knows, in maybe season 3, he'll impress some big clubs. But Salford have overachieved this season, finishing in 5th place, which means they're in the playoffs. And they have beaten Barnsley over 2 legs, and all they have to do is beat Reading. And IShowSpeed will be a championship player. But the question is, can Salford and IShowSpeed go ahead and promote to the 2nd division of the world's best league? And it's a 2-1 victory, as Speed fails to get a goal. But the question is, did he complete Leao's objective? But sadly, this year it's only a +2 for IShowSpeed out of 66, and I think it's because I didn't improve his shooting. But regardless, he does it. Another 15 goals in only 38 appearances. IShowSpeed is becoming a decent pro footballer. Of course, he still fails to win the Golden Boot, but he did finish around 12th place, so he's getting much closer. And just 2 seasons in, IShowSpeed is still far away from completing his dreams. And to kick off season number 3, Speed has actually gotten some transfer offers. The first one being from CD Tondela, a club in Portugal, exactly where Rafael Leao started his career. And the second offer is from OHL in Belgium. We know Belgium have produced some amazing talents. The question is, should he stay here at Salford or leave to another club in Europe? So IShowSpeed goes ahead and has a conversation with Leao and says, alright Rafa, I've received 2 great offers. While those clubs feel like nothing clubs, do you think I should stay here at Salford? Leao then responds, you know what, it is a tough decision. Portugal is where I started my career, and Belgium have produced talents like Hazard. But if I were you, I would stay there in England. A legend of the game is your manager, and you guys have been overachieving. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. So Leao suggests that we do stay here at Salford, so I'm going to reject the Tondela offer, and I'm also rejecting the OHL offer. And that means for his 3rd professional season, Speed will be here at Salford. And of course, it's time to go back to improving his shooting, as this time around, we're going to go for the advanced forward to continue work on his physical stats as well. And to be honest, when it comes to what Speed should do this season, it's just continue to improve and hopefully stay in the division. But to be honest, I don't think this team is ready to do that. I think this club needs some signings. So once again, I walk into Pasco's office and says, Speed has decided to stay here another year. I suggest you make some signings to help Speed as well as the rest of the club to remain in the championship. Pasco says, you didn't have to tell me. I completely agree with you. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, make sure to comment and let me know, where should I send Speed to next? And let me tell you, Skulls have brought in some amazing signings. The first signing being center back 76 overall, Alfie Gilchrist, a brand new goalkeeper 74 rated, James Beadle, and finally, English wonder kid Chris Riggs 74 overall from Sunderland. And this team is definitely looking like a team that can remain in the division, and who knows, even aim for promotion. But now with all these signings, maybe IShowSpeed could win his first ever Golden Boot. And it's Speed's best ever season, 18 goals and 45 appearances. He did go up a +3 to a 69 overall, slowly approaching that 70. And yes, Salford City just survived relegation in 20th. I think Speed has been doing his job. But no, boy, Speed just missed out on his first Golden Boot to Martin Tapia by 2 goals. Are you serious, man? But hey, at least we can say Speed is improving. However, to kick off season number 4, there's bad news, as Paul Scholes has brought in world-class striker Ivan Toney to Salford City. How the hell did he pull that off? So I go ahead and walk into Paul Scholes' office and says, Mr. Scholes, what gives, man? Speed has been improving drastically, and now you've replaced him with somebody 10 times his ability. Paul Scholes says, look, at the end of the day, Speed has improved a lot, but he was simply a way to bring viewers, and now we've made tons of money. And we don't need IShowSpeed anymore. And yes, boys, that does mean that IShowSpeed has been transfer listed. He really did help this club come all the way to the championship, and now it's just replaced like it's nothing. And quickly, IShowSpeed has gotten an offer, and it is from AS Monaco. That is a huge jump for IShowSpeed. It seems like clubs do really rate him. He has received another offer, and it is from Lecce in the Italy. He might get more game time at this club over Monaco. And the final offer has come in, and it is from Westerlo in Belgium. This is probably the best offer he can get in terms of game time. So IShowSpeed goes ahead and has a chat with Rafael Leao and says, alright Rafael, I've gotten 3 offers. Which one do you think is the best? And Leao says, well, clubs like Lecce and Westerlo will give you lots of game time. But remember, AS Monaco is the club where Kylian Mbappe broke out through. You may not get a lot of game time or maybe even go out on loan, but you are guaranteed to come out a star if you join that club. So now that his mentor has spoken, what club will Speed choose? And IShowSpeed has made his decision, and that is joining AS Monaco. We don't know if if he'll be starting, sitting on the bench, or going out alone. But we know he wants to be a breakout star like Kylian Mbappe as he goes to the next step of his career in France. Hopefully this move is perfect to eventually send him back to Real Madrid. Speed has now arrived at Monaco, going up a +1 to a 70. But unfortunately, he is sitting here in the reserves as he is nowhere near being the starting striker. So of course that does mean that Speed has to go ahead and go out on loan, but it's okay because this move was perfect. He can come back in 1 or 2 seasons and maybe win his first league title here in Monaco. So Speed has found a club to go out on loan for the next 2 years, and it is CD Nacional in the Portuguese league, who also happened to be a club in the same city where Ronaldo was born at. He wasn't good enough for Sporting, but he is good enough for the second best club in Ronaldo's birth country. And IShowSpeed has now arrived in Portugal, where he'll be in the starting 11, and to be honest, this team doesn't look too bad. But of course, Speed isn't trying to achieve anything here but get better. So of course, we're gonna go ahead and give him the poacher development plan again, and maybe, just maybe, in these next 2 years, he can win that first golden boot. And IShowSpeed has gone ahead and finished in 8th place with Nacional. To be honest, they are a mid-table club, but it's another +4 for IShowSpeed now out of 78, getting closer to play for AS Monaco. But it's Speed's best ever season, 22 goals and 1 assist in 36 appearances, the nastiest carry job I've ever seen. But no, Speed still doesn't win the golden boot. He is in a top 10 league and finished in 2nd. That is very impressive, man. But let's go to season number 5. I truly believe he's finally gonna win his first golden boot next year. And to kick off season number 5, Speed has come into my office to have a conversation. He says, Mr. Salinas, my agent, I want to win the golden boot this year because the World Cup is at the end of the season and I want to be selected by the United States. And then responds, Speed, I truly respect that. I think I have an idea on how to secure you the golden boot. And yes, boys, I do have an idea, but before we move on, IShowSpeed is looking absolutely incredible. 78 shooting, still at 90 pace. His physical is looking great, but he is still lacking that passing and that dribbling. So I think this time around, we're gonna give him the target forward role. But I walk into that Nacional manager's office and I say, Speed is in for a big season and I know how to capitalize on that. Potentially get you guys to Europe. You need to go ahead and bring in Jiro from Barcelona. It's on loan on a transfer. He has been Speed's best ever teammate. The Nacional manager then responds, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. Let's bring him in. So the manager has made it happen. On a season-long loan, Jiro has returned to be Speed's teammate. Now at a 78 overall. Surely Speed will have the perfect player to feed him to win the golden boot this year and go to his first ever World Cup. So Jiro has now reunited with IShowSpeed, and I think it's time for Speed to win his golden boot. And boys, at the end of the season, Speed has reached the domestic cup final up against Porto. He has the chance to win his first division trophy. This could send him to the World Cup squad, and it's a 3-1 win. The Speed scores a goal in the final, and it just gets even better. 30 goals and 39 appearances for Speed, now out of 77. And just take a look at Jiro with 21 assists. He was huge to Speed's career, but did Speed finally win the golden boot? Well, he did get Nacional just missing out on Europe. But yes, Speed wins his first ever golden boot by 5 goals over Pavlidis. He finally adds something to his tally. But the question is he going to the World Cup? And as the USA have a very tough group, sadly, IShowSpeed was not selected for this year's World Cup, as the striker position is actually very talented for this national team. But who knows, maybe at the next World Cup, he'll make his debut. And as the USA got knocked out to England in the round of 16 and Leao has won the World Cup, IShowSpeed has returned to AS Monaco, where he will actually be starting next to Fabio Silva. And this team, to be honest, is not looking too bad. Who knows, maybe Speed wins his first ever league title. But quickly, Speed has a conversation with Leao. Yo, Rafa, congratulations on winning the World Cup. I hope one day I can do it. But what's next on my journey of going back to Real Madrid? Leao says, thank you, we worked really hard, made Ronaldo proud, but I think the next thing you need to do is score more goals than Fabio Silva this season, because this AS Monaco side is good, but who knows, with a great season or two, you can impress the top Premier League club, or maybe my club, AC Milan. So Speed has to go ahead and outscore his teammate Fabio Silva, who just won the World Cup at an 85 overall. And if Speed is gonna go ahead and do that, we must continue to work on his shooting. Let's go ahead and give him the poacher again. However, at the end of the season, Speed only got 12 goals and 2 assists, 6 goals behind Fabio Silva. He is unable to beat the World Cup winner. But hey, at least he went up a +2, now at an 80 overall at just 23. I'm sure maybe next season he will be able to beat him. But when it comes to the league, they finished in 7th place. That is not good, man. I was expecting like a 2nd place finish. And of course, he fails to win the golden boot. I don't know if he'll ever be Osimhen to this golden boot win. And I think I know where the problem lies. I think it's the team. It looks pretty decent from the midfield, but when you look at the defense, a 77 rated rated center back, a 78 rated center back as well. They're just conceding too many goals. So to kick off season 7, I walk into the manager's office and I let him know, hey boss, I respect all the work you've done and thank you for bringing speed to the club, but I think we need a whole brand new defense. The manager then responds, I completely agree, that was on my radar. We really underperformed last year. And let me tell you, this Monaco manager is serious, as he went ahead and brought in an 81 overall Chris Richards, an 84 rated Renato Vega, and the biggest signing, an 86 overall Kuzanov, who was playing at Everton. And this team now looks like it can compete for the league title and help Speed go ahead and continue to improve. But before we go to the end of the season, these are IShowSpeed stats. I don't understand, his shooting is looking incredible, but maybe with the new defenders, he will score more goals anyways. So let's just go ahead and give him the target forward development plan. And at the end of the season, Speed was so close to winning the league title by finishing in second, but he was off by like 20 points. And he also just missed out on his second golden boot with 16 goals and 30 appearances. Does this mean he outscored Fabio Silva? Well, Speed has gone up another +2 to an 82 overall. And yes, he has outscored Fabio Silva by 3 goals. That's what Leao wanted for him. But I can't lie, this team is looking very impressive. They might be in for a league title next year. And in season number 8, Speed has received a huge offer, and it is from Chelsea Football Club. He can go ahead and play for the Premier League in one of the best teams. So quickly, Speed goes ahead and speaks with Leao and says, Leao, I just got a huge offer from Chelsea. What are my next goals and should I accept this offer? Leao says it's very obvious what you need to do next, and it's to go ahead and win your first league title in a top 5 league, and Chelsea might be the place. However, you do have the chance of winning the league title here with Monaco, and you would definitely play more games here, so I'm gonna leave this decision up to you. So Speed cannot decide, so he walks into my office and says, Mr. Salinas, you've always done right by me. Should I try and win the Premier League with Chelsea, or should I stay in Monaco and maybe win the Liga title here? Speed, Chelsea is a huge attraction, and you can win the Premier League there. However, I'm worried about your game time. You can go over there and win as many trophies, but if you don't continue to improve, you'll never end up at Madrid. Trust me, stay here at Monaco. So Speed goes ahead and rejects Chelsea, as he'll remain here at Monaco. And boys, like I said, with this team, when fit, I think could win the league title. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong and I made the wrong decision. But we're gonna go ahead and continue to work on his finishing and go for the Portugal development plan. I'm expecting a golden boot this year. And boys, the craziest thing has happened. Monaco are in the Champions League final against PSG. What has happened with this club? Speed actually has a chance to win his first Champions League so early. Can he go ahead and do it? And it's a 4-1 loss, as Neves, Suaza, Dua, and Osimhen kill Speed's dream. But PSG also went ahead and won the league on. Did I make a mistake keeping him here? And no, thankfully not, because Chelsea are nowhere to be seen in the top 6. They finished in 9th. We dodged the bullet there. And sadly, Speed does not win the golden boot, as he got 16 goals in the league. But it was another great season for Speed. 23 goals and 1 assist, now at an 85 overall. But to be honest, I think we need to move clubs, because he needs to be the singular striker. He could have had 47 goals if he was there by himself. And now it's season 9. It's time for Speed to win his first league title. So why not join AC Milan, where his mentor Rafael Leao is still playing, as he is joining at an 86 overall. And I can't lie, he probably will do it in his first time of asking. So Rafael Leao welcomes Speed to the club and says, Speed, welcome to Milan. We have signed you, legitimately you, to win us a league title this season. After that, you can go anywhere else, Chelsea, Arsenal, City, maybe even Real Madrid. Speed says, I'm excited to finally play with you. You're in your prime. I'm slowly getting to my prime. I think we can do it in this first season. And Speed is now at Milan, and take a look at this team. Rafael Leao is at an 87 overall at 34, still doing incredible. I think they have a huge chance of winning the Serie A. As we're gonna go ahead and give him the false 9 role. His shooting and pace is incredible. His dribbling and passing needs a lot of work. And Speed has done it again. It's another UCL final against PSG again, man. Can he finally do it? His goal is not to win the UCL here, but he might as well go ahead and do it. A lot of injuries, including Leao. This might not turn out too well, and it's a 4-2 loss. I cannot believe Speed lost back-to-back finals. But regardless, it's his best ever season. 34 goals and 55 appearances. Now at an 87 overall. Did he win his first league title? And maybe another golden boot? It's been a minute, man. And yes, he wins his second golden boot by 1 goal over Fofana, meaning he gets a second. And yes, he wins his first league title in the top 5 leagues with AC Milan. 2 more left to go, as he fails to win the Super Cup and the Coppa Italia. However, it's a World Cup year, and Speed has finally been selected, leading the line for the USA. However, they have last time's World Cup winners in their group. But when it comes to the group stages, the US did did qualify in second place. And in the round of 16, they beat Croatia. In the quarters, they lost to Germany 4-2. And the World Cup winners this time around was Italy. But at least Speed got amongst the goals, scoring 3 goals to his name. But now in season number 10, an 88 rated IShowSpeed at 26 years old, it's time for him to go ahead and win another league title. Let's transfer list him and let's see who comes in for him. And the first offer that's come in is from Liverpool Football Club. I think I might take this offer if nobody else comes in. And a second offer has come in, and it is from Napoli in the Serie A. If he was gonna stay in Italy, he'd stay at AC. And the final offer that's come in for IShowSpeed, it is Arsenal. The question is, should he go to the Reds or should he go to the Gunners? And Speed made his decision as he is joining Arsenal Football Club. And it was a very easy decision because Arsenal finished in 7th place. And I know you may think that's bad, but Liverpool relegated to the Championship last season. That club has completely fallen apart as IShowSpeed has now become a Gunner. And IShowSpeed is now an Arsenal player. And just take a look at this team. How did they finish in 7th place? But regardless, Speed has a conversation with Bukayo Saka. Saka says, welcome to my home, welcome to Arsenal. You are a huge player and we believe you're the final piece for us winning the Premier League again. Speed says, Saks, I'm ready to go ahead and win the Gunners a league title. Let's go ahead and do it. So of course, Speed is now ready to win a 2nd league title and a 2nd top 5 league division. As we're just gonna go ahead and give him the poacher development plan. Try to get him as high rated as possible. But now at an 88 overall, he is in Ballon d'Or range. He might win his first Ballon d'Or soon. However, before we go to the end of the season, I bring Speed into my office to give him some news. I say, Speed, you've come a long way from getting rejected from Real Madrid, and winning the league title with Milan was incredible as Leo has retired on that. So now I expect you to step up and win your first Prem Golden Boot and hopefully the league title so you can return to Real Madrid. Speed says, I'm thankful for everything Leo has done. It's time to become the world's best player and go back to Real Madrid. And I just noticed that Dro is here at Arsenal. How did I not see him? That's incredible to see. And it's Speed's best ever season. 40 goals and 2 assists in his first year in the Prem is ridiculous. And he is now at a 90 overall, one of the world's best. Surely there's a huge chance he won the Prem. But first of all, he wins his 3rd Golden Boot of his career with 25 goals, only 2 left to go. And yes, in his first time of asking, he has won the Prem League, beating Man United by 2 points. But he failed to win the Community Shield. He lost in the final of the FA Cup, but he did win the Carabao Cup, a domestic double for Speed. And no, he had a chance for a treble, but lost to Bologna in the conference. And sadly, in his first chance, Desiree Doué is the Ballon d'Or winner. But trust me, Speed will win it very soon. And to kick off season number 11, I walk into Arteta's office, the Real Madrid manager, to share some words. Hello, Mr. Arteta. 11 years ago, he rejected IShowSpeed, and now he is one of the world's best. Just missed out on the Ballon d'Or. I think it's time you brought him back to the club. Arteta says, you know what? I was wrong. We need somebody like IShowSpeed. We just finished in 3rd. So now in season 11, IShowSpeed is finally returning to Real Madrid. It's been 10 years since he's been rejected and has now returned as a Galactico himself. So Speed is now a Real Madrid player, and I can see why they finished in 3rd last year. The squad just doesn't look that good. However, the club spent it all on Speed this year, so he must do it with this team. And in terms of development plan, I'm just gonna give him the false 9, man, because at this point, I'm not sure if he grows anymore. And what a first season for Speed. 33 goals and 3 assists. Now at a 91 overall. He's been a success so far. And Speed wins his 4th Golden Boot, tying with Fermin Lopez. We will take that. One more left to go. And yes, Speed has won La Liga, his final one. That means next, it might be time to go for the treble. But he fails to win the Copa de España. But wait a minute, he's won the Copa del Rey. There's a chance he would have won the treble already. In the Champions League, they finished 8th in their group. That's not a good start. In the round of 16, they beat Atleti. In the quarters, they beat PSG. But in the semis, they lost to Dortmund. As the winner is AS Monaco. If he would have stayed, he would have had his first Champions League. And of course, Speed did not win the Ballon d'Or as it was given to Desiree Doué once again. So this might be Speed's final season wearing Ronaldo's number 7 for one potential final time. Let's just go ahead and give him the target forward role. Let's see if he can finally achieve his dreams and become a Madrid legend. And I cannot believe this. 59 goals in 59 appearances for Speed. This would be a perfect way to end it off. Now at a 93 overall, surely if he won the Champions League, let alone the treble, he will win his Ballon d'Or. Well, Speed has easily won his 5th and final Golden Boot by 10 goals. And yes, he has won La Liga undefeated with 110 points. All Speed has transformed this club. The Copa de España also goes to Madrid. And boys, he has smashed Barca in the Copa del array. The treble is on. And this time in the group, they went undefeated with 22 points. In the round of 16, they destroyed Inter Milan. In the quarterfinals, they destroyed Arsenal, his former club. And in the semis, they destroyed Barcelona as he's facing Stade Rennais in the UCL final. And boy, Speed has been the best player this year. That Ballon d'Or is coming home. They have some guy named Andino. And Mason Werner and Ernest Poku also have amazing goals in the Champions League. This won't be easy. But it's time for the Champions League final. Can he go ahead and complete their first ever treble? And yes, it's a 5-0 victory, as Speed did not score in the final. But regardless, he wins his Ballon d'Or, becoming the world's best and now a Real Madrid legend. If you guys enjoyed this video, click on the screen and watch me race to win the Champions League with HRS.